Hi everyone, welcome to this video. We're looking at algebra today. Now in case you didn't know, algebra is a part of mathematics where we look at unknown quantities. Okay, we look at numbers which are represented by letters, and I know it sounds quite strange, but you'll get the idea when I show you what we mean. So just to give you an example, let's say someone gives you, let's say you've got 2 apples, okay, and if you had 2 apples in a bag and someone else gave you another 3 apples, and then someone else asked you how many apples do you have in total, you wouldn't say I've got 2 apples and 3 apples, right? What you would say is you would say I've got 5 apples. So in the same way, if we pretend that the letter A represents our apples, right? Here's our apple, so we've got 2 apples, and here we've got 3 apples. So in total we've got 5 apples. Okay, and then someone else, let's say, gives you another let's say 2 apples, right? So then what you would have in total, you'd have the 2 apples plus 2 apples plus 3 apples makes 7 apples. Now this is quite easy to do because we're just adding the apples, right? So we're going to forget about the apples for the time being and just talk about the letters now. So we've got 2a plus 2a plus 3a, and in total we've got 7a. We're adding the numbers together. Okay, this is called collecting like terms. Collect like terms, and we are collecting like terms. Collect means gathering, like is because this is just like this, is just like this. All the terms, this is a term, this is a term, and this is a term. We're just adding them up because we can, because they're similar to each other, they're like each other. That's where this term, where this word, the sentence collect like terms comes from. Okay, and this is quite easy to do. It does get confusing, or it can get a little bit more complicated when other terms are put in. So let's have a look at those now. Here we've got 3 apples and 2 bananas. Okay, so if someone gave you a bag and it had 3 apples and 2 bananas, and someone else said to you, what's in the bag? You wouldn't say I've got 5 apple bananas, or, you know, although technically you could say I've got 5 bits of fruit, but in maths we're being very specific. So you would have to say I've got 3 apples and 2 bananas. Okay, so this is our answer actually. Okay, 3 apples plus 2 bananas. So let's do away with the fruit now. Now you get the idea, and just let's look at the principle of algebra. So we're going to look at collecting like terms. Okay, so let's say, for example, we've got 3a. Let's forget about fruit now. We're just looking at letters. Okay, so 3a plus 4b plus 2a plus 6b. We want to work this out. Okay, so we can actually simplify this by collecting like terms. So what I would do, what I normally do, and I advise you to, is I look at the sentence, look at this structure, and I look for all the terms that are like each other. So this is just like this one, and I underline them. And you can put a dot on top of the others that are like each other, so there's no confusion. And then it's quite simple. 3a plus 2a makes 5a. And then we've got 4b plus 6b makes 10b. Okay, so this is our answer. Now there's no need to simplify this, although we can, but this is our answer because this summarizes this. Okay, it's a bit of a jump from thinking about apples and bananas to just letters. So let's have a look at a few more examples. And what you could do if you wanted to is, if I write down the problems, you can work them out. You can pause the video and work it out and collect the like terms and see if your answers match mine. Okay, so let's look at a few, and then I'll give you some time to work it out. Now before I let you do your own one, let's just go through a couple more just to make sure you've got it. So here we're not looking at A's and B's, we're looking at B and Y. Still the same thing, still the same principle. The letter represents a number. We're not worried about that just for the time being. We're just looking at collecting like terms. Okay, we look at what these numbers represent, what these letters represent in another video later on, as you get used to this. So let's collect like terms. So let's underline the like ones, and let's put a squiggly line on top of the other like ones. So 2b plus 4b makes 6b, and then we've got 3y plus 2y makes 5y, and that's my answer. Okay, so this is my final answer. And again, no need to simplify, no need to do anything else. It's really easy. All we've got to do is make sure we are collecting the terms that are like each other and adding them together. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple to do, and then pause the video and have a go yourselves. Okay, have a go at these, pause the video, and then when you're ready, come back and have a look at how I did mine, and then we'll take it from there. We'll go to the next step. Okay, so let's have a look at the first one here. So we've got 4x. Oh, by the way, I should have mentioned this earlier. In algebra, we don't write x like this because it looks like it's times. So we always write x like a back-to-back c with a back to it. Okay, so that's our x. Anyway, so we've got 4x plus 3x. That makes it 7x. And we've got 3y and 2y. And if we add 3 plus 2, we've got 5. So this is my answer for this one. Now in this one, this was a bit of a tricky question. This was me being a bit naughty. So we've got 8c and 2c, which makes 10c. Now this and this, they've got no letters next to them, so they're just numbers. And you can't add them to this, right? You can't say that 10c plus 3 makes 13c. No, because this doesn't have a c next to it. So remember, we are collecting like terms. We are collecting the numbers. I'm going to put a line on top of the numbers that don't have any letters next to them because they are like each other. So 3 plus 9 makes 12. So the answer to this one is 10c plus 12. Okay, so remember, collecting like each other, we are collecting like terms. So for example, if you were to get a question that looks like this, let's say it's 8a plus 2ac plus 2b, you can't add 8a and 2ac together because there's an a there. Just because this has an ac, just because this has an a, that does not make the same as this, because this has an a and a c. This is a different term altogether. They've got to be exactly the same as each other. And in fact, even if, I know it sounds a little bit controversial, but if this was 8a, capital A, and this was 2 small a, even these are different to each other. Okay, so please remember that collecting like terms means that they've got to be exactly like each other. Okay, we're going to move up a little step now. Okay, so this one, in this particular example, we've got 4c plus 3b take away, or minus 2c minus 1b. Now for you, it probably looks like the ones that we've just done, but we've got to be very careful here because we've got some minus numbers, right? Now what you've got to remember is that this minus number belongs to this number here. This minus sign, sorry, belongs to this number here. Okay, these cannot be ignored. In all the other ones that we looked at, they all had plus this, plus this, plus this. Now we're looking at minus numbers. Okay, so again, the principle is still the same. We've got 2c, and we've got 4c, and we've got 2c. So these are like each other. So 4c minus 2c makes 2c. And then we've got 3b. Let's put a circle around this one. And let's put a circle around this one because they're both the same. But 3b minus 1b makes a positive number because 3 take away 1 is 2. So plus 2b. And that's our answer. Okay, let's look at another one. Let's say 5b plus 6y take away 3b take away 2y. Okay, so again, let's underline the like terms. Let's put a dot on top of the other like terms. So 5b minus 3b. Lots of people make mistakes because they look at the 5b and they look at the 3b and they add it and they think it should be 8b when it's not, because this is a minus 3. So 5b minus 3b makes 2b, and plus 6y minus 2y makes 4y, because 6 minus 2 makes 4, positive 4. Okay, so let me give you a few and you can have a go at them. Okay, here we go. Have a look at these. Pause the video, work them out. Be very careful with the signs. Look at each term very, very carefully. Don't just look at the letter and the number, look at the sign in front of it. Be very conscious of that, because they will try to trick you. Okay, so pause the video now, have a go, and then come back when you're done, and let's see if our answers match. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to collect the like terms. So we've got 3a minus 2a makes 1a, or we just write a. Okay, so 3 take away 2 is 1. If we see a letter without a number in front of it, it's just 1. Okay, so let's just do this quickly. So 3a, and we'll put a dot on top of the other two like terms, and then we've got 7, so plus 7 plus 6, that makes 13b. Okay, that's nice and easy. This one is a little bit trickier, and I'll tell you why in a second, because you have to have quite good knowledge of negative numbers in this one. So let's collect the like terms. Let's identify them first. So we'll underline the y's, and then we'll put a little squiggle on top of the x's, so there's no confusion. So we've got 2y plus 6y, sorry, 2y plus 4y, that makes 6y. And then we've got a minus 3x, and we're adding 5 to minus 3. Now if you think back to year 4, negative numbers, to solve negative numbers you use a line like this. So we were, if I remember correctly, it was minus 3 and we were adding 5. Remember, when we're adding, we're going in this direction. When we're subtracting, we're going in this direction. So minus 3 plus 5 makes this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We land on 2. Okay, so back to this. Plus 2x. Oops. Okay, so this is the basics of algebra. There are 3 or 4 steps, 3 or 4 stages. The first stage is when we just identify like terms and we learn to collect them. But at the same time, we've just got to be very, very careful with our negative numbers. Okay, and when we talk about negative numbers, you've got to remember that with negative numbers, whenever we are adding, we are always going in this direction, and whenever we are subtracting, we are always going in that direction. So for example, if I said what's minus 1 minus 3, we start with minus 1, so minus 1 minus 3 means 1, 2, 3, and the answer is minus 4. Okay, if I said what's minus 2 plus 5, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so the answer is 3. So please be aware of that. I think there's another video I have made on negative numbers. If you're not very good at your negative numbers, it's probably worth watching that as well, just to make you up to speed with that. Okay,